as a man, the woman you choose is a huge representation of you.
Yeah,
right?
It's a reflection.
Do you agree with that? That's your chick. If you're going to introduce her to people,
yes.
That's my chick, that's my wife, etc. If 100 men have fucking used her and thrown her away before you, how can you say I have something special?
Because that doesn't define you.
When 100 men didn't want her, and I do. If 100 people pick up a sandwich and go, no, and I pick it up off the floor and go, yes, finally, the best sandwich. That's not how the world works, right? This is the unfortunate reality of the world. And scarcity and value are the same thing. Why is gold valuable? Because it's hard to find gold. If there's gold all over the street, it was on every street corner, it wouldn't have a value, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're a girl that everyone's had, your value is going to be destroyed. Your value as a woman comes from the fact that people want you and cannot have you. Period. Your value does not come from the fact that everyone wants you and everyone's had you. Mm-hmm. So the number one thing a man's looking for is a woman who can stand next to him that every single man wants and not a single man can say, I've had. Yep. That is why we are interested in chess, virgins, etc. That's the reality of the game.
Well said.
For every woman that is not willing to settle, there's 9 women that will. And half y'all part of the 9 women and you don't even know it. So dudes be like, yeah, I don't have to have my stuff in order because the proof is in the pudding. I can be half of a man and still get a full woman. I can be half committed and still get the full benefits from a woman. I can barely be a boyfriend and she'll be a full wife. What about you that has convinced you that the best you can do is a man's potential? Every time in my comment section I talk about ready, prepared men, waiting, not tolerating bullshit, there's always 3 or 4 women, 5 women, 6 women in my comment section talking about, but everybody leaves love. I mean, so you gotta be stable in order to have a relationship. I mean, what if they going through things? It's always a woman in the comment section, and it's those dusty ass ladies that's giving y'all a hard rep. You know why? Because it's always a woman willing to accept bullshit. So now men expect you to accept bullshit.
While some of you may already be aware of this idea, others may not fully grasp its relevance. And it's because women nowadays have an overinflated perception of their own worth that has nothing to do with their actual dating market value. I'll give you a prime illustration of this. Women occasionally ask me to make videos about problems they're having. And I recently had a case involving a woman in her late 30s. She earned a respectable income. She was working for a company that paid her roughly $30,000 more a month. She had achieved success for herself. She realized that she had found out how to operate as her own business, broadcasting knowledge while earning some money. And once more, but there's a problem. She really had 2 children by the time she was in her late 30s, or almost 40. One of them was born earlier this year. In other words, she essentially has a newborn, and the other child appears to be under 4 years old. I need your help finding a guy, she pestered me with. I'm a loner. I'm a sole parent. Here is my tale. I have a good income, but I desire an alpha male who is educated and has a higher income than I do. Now, this is not exactly a novel concept. You may assume that this is the first time this has come up, or that I have never heard of this, but it actually happens fairly frequently. She didn't know how much she was worth on the sensuous market. She must have been quite attractive when she was younger, because she provided a link to her social media profile so I could look at who she was. I am aware of all these facts. She was a beautiful woman when she was younger, but after 2 children, a marriage, and who knows what else, she lost her beauty. Her appearance has significantly declined. She had a baby with her and a young child who was divorced. But she had reached the stage where she felt entitled. She felt entitled to a better value guy than the one who left her husband, despite the fact that he had become connected with another woman before she did, or for another lady who has children and expects him to be an alpha male in addition to earning more money than she does. And I'll be honest with you, there isn't a man in her age range that would be willing to take on the responsibility of another man's children. This is because she will actually have opportunities in her age range. Take up the responsibility of handling all the drama there is. Close to that, women peak at the ages of 23, 22, and 23, when they are nowhere near the height of their commercial value as an object. After that, they start to deteriorate. Men, on the other hand, have the chance to reach their peak considerably later in life. And when they do, It's really beneficial for males because, depending on how well they take care of themselves, guys can peak later in life, say, in their late 30s or around that time, possibly even closer to 40. Yet there is. Women have far higher levels of self-confidence and entitlement to their dating market value. And it's basically because they've received so much free attention throughout their lives, primarily from thirsty betas and men who just keep shoving it in their faces. It comes to them via social media. Again, this woman was employed by a corporation with a single business model, but she worked for herself and earned more than $30,000 per month, had a sizable fan base, evidently attracted and received a lot of love from people. Because of the products she was pushing and selling, I would assume that her audience was predominantly female. However, because it is one of her expectations, no guy in his right mind would pick an alpha male who, let's say, earns more than $31,000 each month. Women always desire more than they currently have because, as we all know, they are hypogamous. Only women from higher socioeconomic levels date and get married, mainly on a short-term basis. If it's LC, they only want to fling or have a one-night stand. Nothing is going to stop them from spending the night with a recent prisoner if he is dominant enough. As a guy in the dating market today, you must realize that women have an excessively entitled sense of self-worth and think they are worth far more than their actual market value. Women find that difficult. They struggle greatly. They might eventually run into a wall after that and say, "Oh wow, that was an eye-opener." They typically come to the realization that they need to have fewer expectations at some point. No matter how much money women make, they never share it with males, so I need to have a more realistic idea of what I'm worth. Men are naive. We let the ladies split our pot of riches. Women don't consistently give males access to their pot of riches. They are expecting it. Once more, in line with this woman's wishes, a connection to a better-off person naturally, it is extremely alpha to check off all of these boxes. Many of the demands that women appear to place on themselves include the need to be funny, lovely, loving, and kind, as well as the need to recognize that their children are their own. Must be the alpha, possess competence, be able to change clothing, and be able to perform. And it seems as like they have this 250-item checklist that they require you to check off before they will grant you permission to date someone in their late 30s. Woman with one infant in tow. And the guy she was with broke up with her. I advised her up front that it would be best for her children if she would either take the father of her children back or adjust her expectations of what she is searching for. Additionally, you won't fare much better. I've seen the images of the man with the feet, but the reality is as it is. That is the icy, unforgiving reality that women find it difficult to accept. Men must comprehend it. Women are unlikely to ever want to accept it. But once more, guys, here is the situation.